Since 2022, AI CEOs told us that programming is soft, that in 3 months, 6 months, we will automate all of the software development. And here we are 4 years later in 2026, still debugging failing pipelines, still writing unit tests, still uh, trying to work with our clients who don't know what they want. So basically, if you're still believing that it's not worth it to learn software development, to learn, for example, languages like Java, let's watch this video and I will try to convince you that you are very, very much wrong if you think that. So, first of all, I want to give some context of who I am and what I'm working on right now, because that might be your first video of me you're watching, or you're a long time fan, but for the last year I haven't been really recording. So my name is Oscar. I'm a Java junior developer at a Danish company that is doing consulting. And basically, right now I'm working for municipalities' pension system. So it's a, as you can imagine, very interesting project. But basically, the very important thing about this is that this is for a Danish client, and all of the documentation for the project is also in Danish. So as you can imagine, it's a problem because I don't speak any Danish. So I wanted to share my experience with using AI on this project, and it's been quite quite good, but very, very, very much far from perfect, and very much far from really, automating all of this work and giving it to AI. So I prepared some notes, and first thing that is a problem with AI is that it's still hallucinating. So if we could, for example, let's say that 90% of the work that is done with AI is good. So it's acceptable, we can deploy it and we can use it and everyone will be happy with that. But this 10% is still need to be done by human. So for example, uh, some time ago, I was doing a task implementing a new change to the system, and basically I was quite lazy that day, and I asked, okay, here you have all documentation for the change, what you have documentation for the project and so on to implement this change. And like 15 minutes later, I got the result. I looking at the code, looks fine. And then in the code review, the reviewer asked me, Oscar, are you sure that this part of the change is in the documentation? Because I don't remember you having to add this other field, or like there was like some info box to the process. And I got it. Shit, it was hallucinated. I didn't check it because I didn't read the documentation, because I was like, yeah, AI can do this. AI can do this. So this is a very important thing to remember, that AI is still hallucinating and there still needs to be human that is verifying the output. And how can you verify the output if you don't know how to code without AI, and how to and understand the code that it's getting produced? Because if someone who doesn't know the code and doesn't know the project and so on, so basically me, because I'm a junior developer on this project, might not always catch things that are done by AI that shouldn't be done. So we had a hallucination, and next like point is that basically someone has to be responsible and someone has to own this code. So as I mentioned, that you have to review the code that is output by AI, because I maybe you are currently not working in like any corporation on or any project, and for example you are still in university doing student projects. Basically, these are very low stakes projects. So if AI does them, and like the worst thing it can happen is that you will get bad grade on this project, for example, and no one will die, and no money will be like lost. But for example, when you're working in a bank or for like uh, with sensitive data, if something happens to this, for example, I'm working on a pension system. So like a few months ago, we had a problem that was not caused by AI because we weren't using really AI on this project before. But basically, 5,000 people lost access to their health insurance card because there was a bug in our project. So imagine that, like in a few months or years, we got a similar bug that was caused by AI because someone haven't checked the output, someone haven't reviewed it, and what we are supposed to say, like when the client goes back to us, like, bro, what the hell is happening? People are getting losing their money because they don't have their insurance, and we're gonna say, yeah, we are sorry, but the AI that did that. So yeah, it's not our fault. Of course not. Of course not. That's like impossible. That if these big companies will just like say, yeah, we are giving everything to AI because AI can do it. It's cheaper. We're gonna get to the point that is cheaper because it really is not. But just let me have a sip. IBM, if you I don't know if you heard of this big company, used to have a motto that computer cannot be held responsible, and that means that uh, computer cannot make decisions on the manager level. So there still has to be human in the loop. That even if he doesn't do anything, is just responsible for the output. I think in Germany right now, there's like some new law that was passed that when you put something on your website, for example, you are responsible for it, even if AI generated it. So, for example, there was like some problem that with the Google summaries, AI summaries, that when you search something on Google, you get this AI summary, right? And it produced wrong information. And basically, Google was sued for it in Germany, and they passed a law that you are responsible for the output that is presented by the AI. So even if humans in the future are only gonna be there just to be responsible for the code, you're gonna still be needed, right? You still gonna need to learn how to code, and you know to know what is being outputted, and you can verify. Because I personally believe that there never going to be a situation where where not UI, where AI uh, gonna have like this 100% um, like solve rate, for example, that it's gonna produce 100% perfect code, because it's just impossible, right? Because AI is producing its code basically by throwing, no, uh, how to say it in English. Okay, never mind. Maybe I will use another allegory. Basically, uh, using AI is like slot machine. It's super random output, and one prompt will never give you the same answers if you ask it multiple times. So we can never verify truly and be sure that our output is 100% correct without looking at it. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But that being said, of course, AI is super helpful tool if you know how to use it. So, for example, if you are a new person on a project, of course, if you can use AI on this project, because as I said, we started using agentic AI on our project like quite recently, because that's another thing. If you're working with sensitive data or like very like proprietary projects, uh, you can't really use AI on them because you are feeding these models training data. And for example, your client or your company don't want to share this data with the AI owners. And only quite recently, our company created an internal system for AI that basically anonymizes the data that is being put, and we can only use agentic AI through this, which, as I said, is not cheap for the company because they have to pay for the API instead of paying subscriptions for all of the developers. They have to pay for the API keys. That's like 10 times more expensive to use. And we basically can only use like for example, for I think for the Claude we have like 10,000 tokens or like something like 100,000, which is like super low like volume of tokens. So we can't really do all of the work with the AI, and I can only do the most important things, which will be, I think, will it's starting to be like the new way of thinking about AI, that we are no longer giving thinking what AI can do, but more what AI should do. What is like the most ROI, so return on investment, for the things that AI can do. And basically, if you are a junior developer starting on your project, AI can help you a lot, because right now, if you want to learn about the project, you probably would have to read the documentation, ask your other colleagues in the project and what you should do, and that was not always like the most pleasant thing to do, because like the project could be like very badly documented. Your colleagues could be like busy, and like bothering them all the time would be probably wouldn't be the best for them and best for you, because it might be uncomfortable for you, for example, and your colleagues might not be always the most like pleasant people to work with. And yeah, so when you're a new person on a project, for example, you can ask AI questions about this project. For example, how the things are done here, what is the structure, where you should put new features, for example, and where you can find this, how this is done. AI is perfect for this because it works very good on existing data and creating things from the things that already exist. So for example, one of the things I did recently on the project was creating new patches for the database. And basically, there's one patch that I already done, and there was a second patch that was very similar, but was for another database table. And I just asked AI to basically do the same, but for this another table. And it could very easily do this because it had a very good example of how it should do it, and basically copied it and just changed the variables that were for this other table. So, as I said, AI is very good for working with things and building upon things that already exist, following the already existing patterns. Uh, so it allows you to learn more about stuff that you already know about, for example. So that's for example, when you are learning a new language, like for example Java, I would recommend you to not just use AI for that, but start with, for example, some already existing resource, like some course. Unfortunately, I don't have any to sell you right now, so you have to look elsewhere. For example, some course, some book, because that will give you a structured way to learn this language. And only then, when you have this like basic knowledge, you can expand upon it with AI. So, for example, when you are seeing like some example, you can ask AI, okay, what this method does. Or for example, what is this structure? What is this design pattern? And AI will be great at explaining you things, but it's not really great about giving you like some structured way to learn something, for example, because AI will only give you answers about things you asked it about. So for example, if I asked give me all the things are in the Java, it it will not do this, because it will try to give you answer with the lowest cost possible. Okay, so we talked about why AI is not perfect yet, and probably I think it will never be really. We doesn't matter how much training data, how much compute we throw at AI, it's still there's like design flaw in it, that it basically is just random, and first of all needs all of this data. And when you're creating like enterprise software or like software that was supposed to make money for the business, you are not really solving problems that were already solved before. So AI has like many examples of how to solve them. Of course, like for example, for basic things like authentication, login, so like connecting to database, like things like that were solved like thousands of times, and we have thousands of examples of it. And basically, you could, instead of using AI, you could just copy them from some guide already. Like it was never a problem. The problem with software development was always solving problems that were not solved before. And so we talked about why AI is not really perfect yet. And we talk about how AI can help you instead of replacing you. So you shouldn't be scared of it and really should embrace it and use it with, you know, uh, how, with like good intention and not just delegate all of the work for it. But I also wanted to talk about why exactly you should learn Java and Spring Boot, because this channel is about Java. And first of all, we can of course talk about that is the greatest job security, I think, right now amongst every language, because like every enterprise company uses it. Banks, for example, companies like Netflix or Google are like the core of them are made in Java. And I think also Java is great for startups. And I was recently trying my best with creating a startup, but it didn't work well. Not because of Java, it was mostly me problem. So and I think also Java is great for working with AI because it's a strongly typed language. That means that you have more tools from the compiler to verify the output of the code and catch bugs that could be caused by AI, for example, to hallucinating some method or any other stuff. And for example, in JavaScript, you would catch this error in runtime, so when the application is running. And in Java, you are catching this bug before, during the compilation of the project. So it's much easier to catch it. Of course, Java has also a mature ecosystem of libraries and production ready components. So again, AI has many examples how to create things in Java. Mm, yeah, I think that's it for this video. Looking at the timer, it's already almost 20 minutes. I mostly record videos that are 10 minutes long, but I think you can enjoy this more freestyle way of recording videos by me, and I think that you're gonna like this style from now on. And of course, if you want to learn Java, you can of course subscribe to my channel and join my Java developer community. The link is in the description. And see you in the next one. Until next time, create some amazing applications.